The episode starts with presidential candidate Wyndham Brody, who has just won the New Hampshire primary campaign. As his office members cheer him on, the campaign manager John introduces them all to Special Agent Frank McKenna, anointed to Senator Wyndham from the U.S. Secret Service. Next, the senator and his team head to South Carolina to promote his presidential campaign. On the plane, his campaign members wish to discuss their future agenda, but the senator excuses himself to cherish his win. As he passes by his mistress, Catherine Walsh, suddenly the plane is struck by lightning, distressing everyone. Special Agent Frank checks on the senator, assuring him that the aircraft is okay. Wyndham then heads to a private area where he is startled by the presence of an unknown woman. She informs him that Agent Frank and the pilot are wrong since the plane did sustain damage from the lightning. Eventually, one of the engines will catch fire, and they will all perish when the plane lands. Wyndham freaks out, and Agent Frank and his team search the entire cabin but are unable to find the said woman inside. John notices that Agent Frank has some suspicions, so he pins the misunderstanding on the senator's lack of sleep the past week. Once Agent Frank leaves, John worries about Will Sunderland, an aggressive journalist on board who is the last person they want to discover that Senator Brody is seeing things. In the next scene, Wyndham and Catherine dress up after making out. Catherine wants to take their relationship to the next level, but Wyndham only has eyes for the presidency. After Michael leaves Wyndham with his next speech, Wyndham is shocked to see that strange woman seated behind him. She tells him not to call for help, since he is the only one who can see her. According to her, she has traveled back 106 years from the future Golden Age, created by the future President Wyndham Brody. Since the plane is bound to crash, she is here to help save his life, or it will alter the entire future she came from. While Wyndham's team worries about the senator's solo conversation inside his cabin, Wyndham steps out and heads to the cockpit. He casually asks the pilots if the plane sustained any damage from the lightning, but they reassure him that everything is fine. On the way back, Will Sunderland asks him for some time, so he agrees to an interview. He starts talking about his vision to make all private details of American citizens accessible via computers, though Will finds it questionable. Suddenly, the strange lady shows up again and tells Wyndham how he will be found decapitated after the crash. This freaks him out, but he tries to play it cool. Just then, Catherine informs him of a call from his wife in Michigan. However, it was just a facade orchestrated by John to save Wyndham from the morbid interview. He suggests that Wyndham stay in his quarters until they reach South Carolina, since they cannot risk a single wrong move. Suddenly, the strange woman appears behind John, which startles Wyndham. John turns around but sees no one, which precipitates his concern regarding Wyndham. However, the latter pretends to be okay and agrees to John's terms. Just as John is about to sit in the very seat occupied by the strange lady, Wyndham asks him for some time alone, and John obliges. Once alone, Wyndham claims that the strange lady is not real since he cannot touch her. She responds that she comes from quite an advanced technology era, which has enabled her to travel as a form of projection. She also tells him that his agenda of modern technology pushed the U.S. into a new age of enlightenment, but that can only happen if he lets her save his life so he can become the president. Then, she tells him how someone from the future already showed up in Wyndham's campaign earlier that day, which delayed his flight by a few seconds. She even shows him the image of the futuristic traveler with a flick of her finger, which impresses Wyndham. Because of their intersection, the plane got struck by lightning and now they are destined to crash, as one of the engines will catch fire and all the passengers will die. This alarms Wyndham, who yet again rushes to the cockpit and demands the pilots to fix the wires inside the terminal, which would otherwise short-circuit and kill them all when the landing gear is deployed. The pilot tries to reason with him, but the agitated Wyndham does not listen. Things get heated and Agent Frank has to escort the senator out of the cockpit into his quarters again. While John starts questioning if he should ditch this presidential candidate, Catherine and Michael coerce him to stay, hoping whatever psychotic break Wyndham's having right now will be over once they touch land again. Inside the senator's quarters, the futuristic lady asks Wyndham to hurry since he only has 27 minutes left until his death. Wyndham asks her what the future looks like if he dies, to which she answers that the opposing candidate becomes the president and pushes America into a dark age marked by terror, crimes, and destruction. Hearing all this, Wyndham begins to gloat in his sense of self-importance. With the future of America in his hands, he finally decides to listen to the lady but has second thoughts when she tells him her plan, which is to steal Agent Frank's gun and shoot the hatch window, which will automatically open the door due to decompression. Then all he has to do is jump off before the plane strikes the lightning again, and she will save him with advanced technology that will scoop him out of the sky, returning everything to normal. Wyndham walks out of the quarters, while all the other passengers look at him skeptically. Michael tries to talk to him, but Wyndham keeps insisting that the plane is about to blow up in a few minutes. Will mocks the campaign team when Wyndham appears to have a conversation with himself. He approaches him and asks what is making him so anxious, to which Wyndham responds that he needs to make a tough decision about who lives and who dies. Next, he ushers Catherine into his quarters, but she is freaked out by his attitude, and she doesn't let him finish when he expresses his gratitude and feelings for her. She asks him to stop ruining his campaign because the airplane has been fine all along. They kiss, but the strange lady shows up yet again, warning Wyndham that all he has is 12 minutes. On the other hand, Will informs Agent Mark that the senator might pose a threat to the aircraft's safety, so they head toward his quarters. Despite Catherine's feeble attempt to stop them, they enter his cabin. However, Wyndham appears to be entirely normal. He pretends to have been practicing his speech and steps out of his quarters, after which he talks to his aides regarding the agenda for his rally in a few minutes. This confuses the strange lady, who reminds him that he only has 7 minutes. Wyndham ignores her, and when Will accuses him of talking to himself, Wyndham pretends to have no clue about it. Surprisingly, all of his campaign team side with Wyndham and make Will look like the bad guy making false allegations about the senator. The lady reminds Wyndham about how the future lies in his hands, and if he backs out now, the world will never know the great man he is destined to be. Wyndham hides his anxiety by talking about making some changes in the speech with Michael, but then he starts talking about a sacrifice that is essential for the greater good. Meanwhile, the lady starts her countdown. When everyone asks what sacrifice he is talking about, Wyndham shouts that he is talking about their lives, and then he grabs Agent Frank's gun. Before anyone can stop him, he shoots the hatch window, and the decompression opens the door. Despite their efforts to stop him, he willingly jumps through the door, but instead of crashing, he finds himself unscathed on a street. As he rejoices, the lady walks up to him and tells him that he was the tyrant ruler who led the U.S. into a dark future, and she was entrusted with the mission to travel back in the past to stop Wyndham from becoming the president. Since she knew he would jump at any chance to save himself, the lady made this elaborate plan to trick the self-centered senator. This leaves Wyndham confused, and he asks her why she rescued him. Mockingly, she remarks that she never rescued him, and it is then shown that Wyndham is still free-falling, with this conversation an illusion created by the lady. In the end, Wyndham falls to his death, while the plane lands safely, and the campaign team gets off with a heavy heart. With that, the movie ends. Thank you for watching Outer Limits Season 6, Episode 13, Decompression. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Welcome, sci-fi fans. Futurist Flicks is thrilled to launch our exclusive membership program, designed for loyal fans like you. By joining, you'll unlock early access to recap videos, unseen recap videos, raffle prizes, free merch giveaways, exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insights, access to community events, live streams, and Q&A sessions. Join the Cosmic Crew today and get instant access to exclusive perks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more intergalactic adventures.